In this week's episode, we bid farewell to fellow sailor Hans. My honey tries to pull off a hat mutiny as we head out to Vlasov Cay, and I show you how to board your tender like a pro. If you caught us last week, you will have found us sailing to Cairns with an overnight stop at Fitzroy Island to explore its unique past. Our final leg to Cairns was a feisty one. We then checked out what we named the River of Broken Dreams. Hanging on the pick in Cairns is pretty interesting. You see Navy ships cruising by, there's a fairly big marina, a cruise ship terminal, and a long stretch of pile moorings to meet the needs of the boating community. So it is a glorious day in Cairns this morning and the winds have dropped out. We've been waiting. Now's the time for us to get out to the reef and we're just going to go to the markets and provision. Isn't it beautiful along here? The markets are super. The quality of produce is excellent with a huge variety available. You can find almost any type of fruit and veg, spices and herbs that you would want here. And with much of it being locally grown, it lasts much longer on board. Yeah, cool. That afternoon we bid farewell to our friend Hans, a solo sailor who was off on his annual migration to the Louisiades. Yeah. I know how you feel. See you, buddy. So that's our gorgeous friend Hans, who is off up to the Louisiades today. Hans does a super project where he takes solar. He goes up to the Louisiades and gives power, solar power, to people in their villages, in their homes, and lights up their worlds. He's a super guy, so if you do see SV Seagoon anywhere on your travels, especially the Louisiades, he goes every year and continues his great work, go and give the man a big hug and help him out, because he really does deserve it. He's a super guy. You know, it's funny, I imagine a lot of people wouldn't even blink an eye at the fact that they have power and they switch their lights on and can see what they're doing when they want to, and there's a lot of people out there in the world who simply don't have that luxury. So yeah, it's good to see that people like Hans are around and being nice to as many people as you can. It's really good. So we're going to do sheds with him, so we'll listen out on the HF and 8 o'clock in the morning and 6 o'clock in the evening, and just make sure that he's okay for the crossing. Might take him 5 to 8 days, and give him a bit of update on weather. Although he does have that ability himself, it just will be easier, I guess. He's a solo sailor, so he's got a lot to do. And unfortunately somebody naughty stole our bicycles yesterday from the bike racks on shore, and a bit of a blow, because we bought them after I got my cancer diagnosis, and we really have been making an effort, because we don't really have room for bikes on board, but we're making a huge effort to bike every other day and get super fit and super healthy. So but someone else deemed that wanted the bikes more than we needed them. So we're back on the foot power. With the weather clear, it was finally time to head out and explore the reef. Isn't it just the most beautiful day? Absolutely primo conditions. So Darren had a bit of an adventure yesterday, which I thought was pretty funny. I had to go and rescue him in the end. What happened is when we first arrived in Cairns, we've been using our Mercury, which is our main outboard, for our tender, and we decided to switch that over to the Yamaha and give the Yamaha a run while we were in Cairns. And yesterday he took off up the river to go exploring in the mangroves and see what was around about. It's quite a big river system in Cairns where we are, and he'd been gone about 4 hours or so, and it was coming on for it was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I think, coming on for sunset. He gave me a call to say that that the Yamaha was playing up and he was having trouble getting back home. The current up the river runs at about 2 to 3 knots sometimes, and so he was pushing against the current and the tide was coming in, and the Yamaha wasn't giving him any power at all, so he was just chugging along, and sometimes he was going backwards and he really wasn't getting anywhere at all. So I had to weigh anchor and go and rescue my honey. Anyway, that's a bit of a catch up of what we've been doing in the last few days, and we're just about to come through a channel that takes us through 2 reefs, and then we should pop into Blasoff Cay, so that should be good. Yeah, really looking forward to exploring this little region. I was thinking these were a bunch of jet skiers got together for a chat when we were further off, and I couldn't quite see it, but they're actually the channel markers. I went and had a look on the chart. Shusha! He's looking shallow.
We're just pondering the thought of getting rid of Maggie's old hat. We seem to have a problem to pass it on.
It's not ready yet.
Let's take a closer look at it, shall we? Let's take a closer look at it.
Yeah, watch what you say. There's my hat, everyone. I know you all know. Look at it, it's in perfectly good condition.
This is what we're up against.
It's a great hat. It's like an A1 class hat.
Well, I know we can recycle the shells and the string, but I'm not sure about the rest of it.
That's got a year's worth of life left in it.
I think it'd make a great bird's nest on some island. It'd be perfect. We could jam it up in a tree and a little bird would make a lovely little home in this. But currently it's just fallen all over the place. Everywhere you put it down, it's just like a big mess. Anyway.
Don't give up on it yet, my honey.
Yeah, well, you should give up on it.
No! It's a terrible attitude. I can fix it. I'll spend some time fixing it.
Okay.
I'll show you.
Okay. It's a problem.
Blasoff Cay was starting to look a little crowded by the time we arrived. And no wonder. It's the only sandy cay for miles where people can walk about and swim off. And with the weekend weather looking so good, it seemed everyone was out for a good time. We found a nice spot clear of bommies to the east of the cay, so after doing a few chores, we hopped in the water for our daily exercise.
Is there any sharks?
I hope not. Sarean weighs 12 tonne, and I find a weekly dose of weightlifting extremely beneficial for my health. It's also a fun way to practice breath hold techniques for free diving. Below the surface of this shallow reef, we found a variety of fish gathering in their various homes and communities. Some people say the reefs are only good for hunting. I often find more delight in watching these guys interact with each other. They can be so comical, and they live in a world so different to ours, yet not so different, as they still have homes and their suburbs to cruise about in. Where we see a sponge, it might be a shady spot to hang out under. Some fish are homebodies, and some are adventurers, just like us. So it's pretty cool, and I often simply enjoy gliding along from above, watching the goings-on.
How beautiful is this?
Fantastic.
Crystal clear water. Woohoo! Yeah, my honey.
Beautiful.
This is what we had been waiting for, the warm, clear waters of far north Queensland.
Well done.
That's how you get in the dinghy in the most elegant way possible.
That was elegant, I must say.
What a gorgeous day. What a gorgeous day to be in the world. What a gorgeous day to be alive. Yeah, baby. Look how beautiful it is. Like, look over there, how beautiful it is. It's just that beautiful turquoise water.
So after a long play in these beautiful waters, we headed home. Neither McDazzle or I could take our eyes off that turquoise water. The colour was so captivating. We knew we'd made the right decision to keep travelling despite of the current challenges we faced. Our philosophy of keep it light, keep it fun, and keep it free was paying dividends in our hearts and souls.
You're a lunatic.
So after a full day and a quick haircut for McDazzle, it was time for some rest.
I did a pretty good job, except one bit where I got caught by a roll and he's got a divot in the left side of his head. But if no one tells him, it'll all be good.
Free haircuts on the barrier reef.
I'm doing it for you, babies.
Thank you for tuning into this week's episode. We hope you enjoyed it. Help us get our videos out there by giving us the big thumbs up. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and drop us a comment. We love to hear from you.
Feel like a star.
A big thank you to our newest patrons. It's you that keeps these videos running. Welcome to our Patreon family. If you'd like to become a patron or simply say thanks, we've provided the links to our Patreon platform and PayPal in the description below. Much love from both of us. See you next week.